What's up, everybody? I'm just coming on here because I want to do a video. I can't remember the last time. Hold on. I can't remember. This is my Himalayan sea salt lamp. I can't remember the last time I did a video. I used to have a channel specifically for locks, and I just stopped making videos. So if you ever have seen me on YouTube for locks, my locks were about this short when I started them, and here I am with these. I've had these for about 7 years. But what I really wanted to talk about was something that a lot of people aren't, and a lot of people don't want to admit. And I just hope that what I have to share just blesses somebody and makes somebody feel more confident and supported, because it's hard out here. And the thing I wanted to talk about was just how hard it is to find a soulmate in the LGBT community. And, especially when you're over the age of 25 and you're at a point where you really want to settle down, it's hard, and in my personal opinion, I just think there's several reasons why it's been so hard for me and other people who really want to be in a committed relationship to find true love, and not just somebody you love, but also somebody who's a soulmate. And I'll explain the difference between that and a few. But the evolution of the LGBT community, let's see, I came out when I was 14. I was in high school. Was it like 2004, something like that, And when I came out, there was, put it like this, the spectrum of the LGBT community and how people like to define you and what people think it's supposed to look like has evolved. But when I came out, there were femmes, there were studs, there were ultra femmes, there were soft studs. And, pretty much those were the general, quote unquote categories, especially in the black community. And so when I came out, I've always identified, now I identify as just, I don't even have a label. I don't label myself, but at that time I would identify myself as a stud. And one of the things that came with that were certain expectations of what I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to look like, how I was supposed to carry myself. And I remember that was a time around when there was like a downlink page, and you wanted to be the baddest, stud on, or dom, whatever you want to call it, on downlink. You wanted to have the nicest locks. You wanted to have the baddest chick you could find. You know what I mean? And so there was this almost expectation of I don't know, it made you kind of shallow, and so I was always chasing those things because I thought that that's what I was supposed to be. I thought I was supposed to find somebody and, almost like a trophy wife, and, certain expectations of them that I had and that I expect them to have of me, and a lot of them were unrealistic. And I think it was me just chasing stigma and trying to fit into a box that people wanted me to be in. So I went through that phase, and I was in an interracial relationship. And where I grew up, as much as it is, I grew up in New England, it still wasn't something that was acceptable to a lot of people, especially in the black community. A lot of people thought, okay, here's this white woman trying to turn me gay, and that's the reason why I'm gay, because I got, linked into this thing that was associated with Caucasian individuals. And that was the perspective of where I grew up. Everybody has their own experiences, but that's what I experienced. And so of course a lot of infidelity came with that, me, the pressures of society, pressure of the LGBT community, and telling me what I was supposed to be. And so I ended up cheating and chasing, African American women with the fattest ass, the best body. Even some colorism was, part of that as well. And of course, I was with her for about over 5 years, and of course that ended horribly, but it ended. And then from then on, just like moving forward, like I was just in a lot of unhealthy relationships, trying to fit that status quo. And then here I am in 2017, single, and wanting to be in a monogamous relationship. Coming to terms with some of the things that I experienced growing up in the church and having a spiritual backing again, and being very steadfast in how I feel about my faith and the purpose of relationships. And it's been very hard because not only have, a lot of people either gotten into monogamous relationships, kind of, dwindling down the pool, me being college educated with a master's degree, dwindling down the pool of, people who, not saying there's anything wrong with people who don't have a degree, but just, people who relate to your life experiences, maybe want certain things in life that you do. The pool is very small at this point. And then also when you start mixing in like social media and these new expectations that women, gay, straight, whatever, have placed on themselves, people have become very materialistic and shallow, whether heterosexual or gay, and it just makes the pool even smaller. And I find myself a lot of times discouraged. But for me, I guess what I want to say is stay encouraged. Because there's somebody out there. Like anything, we've seen the LGBT community, just the dating scene evolve, and the world goes through phases, and in this phase that I feel like we're going through in 2017, there's no way that it will sustain itself, and eventually people are going to get tired of, the fattest ass and the best Photoshop photo and the best artificial body, and everybody acting like they have something and nobody has anything, and eventually people are going to want something real, and so I think that it's a matter of being patient, hoping, of course, that the world and the culture of our community changes, but also being patient in general and being confident in who you are and understanding that it's okay to have standards. It's okay to find happiness in being single if that's what God has for you, But it's rough, and I don't even know where I'm going with this video, but I guess the one thing I want to say is don't be discouraged. Continue dating. Find happiness within yourself. When I talk about soulmates, I said I was going to explain that before. I think, and let me not even explain soulmates, because I think a lot of people know what soulmates. You run into somebody and you're like, oh my God, we were destined to meet. You're going to meet tons of people who you were destined to meet. That's just what it is, But then you start talking about purpose mates, and I think purpose mates are the person that you're meant to be with, that's going to amplify who you're supposed to be. And they don't necessarily do that because they're on your arm. They do that because of who they are. And the encouragement and positivity that they speak into your life, they bring out the best in you because that's what their purpose is. You flourish in who you are as a person when that person is in your life. And it's a partnership, your partner in crime, and I think that's a lot different than soulmate. You'll meet tons of soulmates in your life. You'll meet tons of people who you were meant to meet. Everybody you encounter, you're meant to meet, or they're meant to be in your life, whether it's they're meant to be in your life because you're passing them on the sidewalk, or they're meant to be in your life because you dated them for 2 years. But there's that one person that helps you fulfill God's divine purpose and intention for your life. And so for me, I'd rather be single and work on fulfilling my purpose than be distracted by the masses or by somebody who I consider a soulmate or somebody who will do for the time being because I can't find anything better. And but another thing I wanted to say about you know, this world that's really rough when it comes to dating is God has an intention for your life, you know, and that may include being single, but I really believe that God places a partner on this earth for everybody and a purpose partner. And a lot of times people end up single because they're not patient enough, they're not quiet enough, they don't sit with themselves, and they don't allow God to work, you know, really having faith and trusting Him. And so for me, I would just encourage you to do that. I would encourage you to just tap in to your faith, tap into who you are, and be patient and just let life take its course. And yeah, I think we need to have more of this type of dialogue. And so give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. You know, a lot of people in the LGBT community have, you know, YouTube pages, but most of them are for people who are in relationships and want to show their relationship, which is perfectly normal. But I think we also have to have a discussion about a lot of things for people who are single. Like, there's more to the LGBT community or to life than people who are already in relationships. What about people who are building up to relationships? What about LGBT people who are building careers or going through certain dilemmas? And I think a lot of that gets missed in a lot of these YouTube pages, not because they're doing anything wrong, just because nobody's talking about it. So I want to create a platform where I can talk about some of these things and real life stuff that happens, that goes on, that we feel that nobody likes to talk about. And so yeah, I will catch y'all later. I have some other things I was thinking about posting, so I'll probably make some videos either tonight or later this week or this weekend. So all right, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.